This
Oracle,
conference will now be
or any other
recorded.
thing? Anyone having any experience in any of the ERP software?
No, 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 sir.
Okay,
I use SAP for HANA and for work right now, so I'm a little familiar with it.
okay. So hope you do have experience in accounts, at least. You have finance background,
No,
right? Huh?
no, no.
Sorry?
I don't have any experience in finance accounts.
Okay, so your qualification is MBA or
Yes, yes, MBA finance. My qualification is MBA finance, but I'm not
okay,
experienced in that.
okay. What about you, Akshata?
I have some experience in accounts, but not a lot.
Okay, I mean, which is there any submodule like AP, AR, GL?
GL.
Okay. Yeah, end user experience, you mean to say? Posting transactions.
Um, not not really. I've learned a little bit about it, but I haven't had to do much with it.
Okay, okay, fine. Okay, hope you can see my screen, which is clearly visible, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So the basic agenda today we are going to discuss is the overview of ERP and SAP overview, what exactly the SAP, and what are the modules that are available in SAP. You can stop me at any point if my voice is not clear and you are not following, okay? And if you have any questions end of the session or during the session, you can interrupt at any time and you can get clarify your doubts as well. So first thing is enterprise research planning. So basically this is an ERP software. SAP is one of the ERP software. Before that, what exactly ERP means? So enterprise resource planning, what it means. So in any of the organization, whatever resources are available in terms of money, in terms of material, or manpower, marketing, whatever methodologies that we are going to use, these we will call as the resources. So we have to plan the available resources in a company in a efficient manner. Okay, so to plan the money according to the company's need, like when they have to buy a raw material. The raw material means whatever materials required to produce any finished product. We will call that as a raw material. Example, if a car, if you take an example of car, the car parts like tire, iron, and sponge, these all we will call it as a raw materials. By taking these raw materials into the account, we are converting these raw materials into a finished car. So whatever components that we are using to prepare one complete car, we will call it as a components or raw materials. We have to plan accordingly to utilize these resources. Okay, so that is called enterprise resource planning. Not only the materials, any of the resource which is available in a company or organization, we have to plan accordingly and get the output based on the company's or organization's requirement. Okay, so that is enterprise resource planning. Even in terms of organizations, we do have different organizations in a company like finance department and sales department, purchase department, production department, like HR department, planning department. So we do have different departments. Every department has to plan accordingly. So HR department has to plan what how the resources to be required, to a specific department. Maybe production team is required resources, so for that what HR department has to do. And manufacturing department, to do manufacturing of a specific product, what resource required, so they have to plan accordingly. So any department or any resource or any manpower, any method which is there available in the company, so they have to plan accordingly. So that is called enterprise resource planning. In this enterprise resource planning, we do have different softwares, okay, methods. One is SAP. SAP is one of the ERP software, and Oracle also one of the software. Okay, Microsoft Dynamics 365, these all are ERP softwares. Among all ERP softwares, SAP is the best and foremost software in the market, because SAP, the reason behind that is it is an integrated system. Okay, SAP is an integrated software. Even if you take other ERP softwares, those also integrated, but the visibility is very clear. What other department is doing is very clear. Without contacting their department, they can see in the system what is happening. Okay, so SAP is one of the best integrated system. It is having integration with all the departments. Finance department can come to know what are the components procured by purchase department, and what are the components utilized by production department, and what are the components sold by sales department. Without interacting individual department, finance can come to know in the system what is the total outstanding payable, what is the total outstanding receivable, and what is the stock available, and what is the aging of that stock. Aging means they have produced that stock but not sold it. That information is readily available in a system without contacting to the individual department. So that means integrated software. It is integration with all the departments. Okay, and whatever data that we are entering in the system, like when you perform any activity on daily basis, okay, so you need to enter those details. To take financial statement, we need day-to-day activities which have been performed in the system. Okay, so for that, again, whatever database it is required, so large companies require huge database to store. Okay, like example, if you take a Gmail, when you are having uh, attachment, when you are sending an attachment to any other person, then your Gmail size, whatever size given by Google, it is going to be consumed. Okay, so after certain time, then again you have to buy that space. But whereas in SAP we do have a lot of data space given by SAP, so we can utilize that. And after certain time, you can do archiving of the data. Maybe down the line, 3 years or 5 years, you may not require the data which is there in SAP, and you can but still store that somewhere in your database. Okay, so that can be done. Yeah. Which screen? Okay. Okay, so and even real time database, when we post any transaction in the system, so we can see then and there is no time gap in the data to see. And pinpoint reports, like in detail grill down reports, we can see reports from each and every module side, not only from the finance side, even we can see the complete visibility of the reports, like stock overview report, accounts payable outstanding report, and accounts payable aging report. Aging means we do have different brackets. Once we have procured any material from the supplier, we need to pay to him. So there may be a time frame that has been given by the supplier, saying that you can take 30 days grace period. After 30 days, you can pay me. So in that case, after 30 days, we have to know what are the amount that we need to pay to the supplier. So that will come into different aging bracket. So that also is available in the system. And dashboard kind of things. Management, they don't want to see a drill down a report. They just want to see the high level. Okay, total number of suppliers from top 10 if they want to see. So who are the suppliers top 10 comes under outstanding payable, and even from the accounts receivable perspective also, who are the customers that they need to pay to the company. Okay, so and even credit limit. So what are the credit limit that have been given to the customer, and without completing that, whether the customer is able to pay or not. So these all information we can see in the system in a detailed manner. Okay, these all features are available in SAP, and
And you will be going over these features into more detail, right?
yeah, exactly. Because
Okay.
in the demo we are not going to give in details, but in the training session we are going to have in detailed explanation and even reports also. Basically, when we are going to use SAP, the basic agenda of that, whatever transaction data that we are posting in the system, day-to-day
Mhm.
transactions, it is not only from the finance part, it is having integrated with material management, sales and distribution, production planning. After posting transaction data, we have to know the reports. End of the the transaction data report is the major thing. That is the last one. So once we fulfill the report requirement, then we can achieve that this is what the company required, like financial statement report. We do have different IFRS and US GAAP. Different companies are following different financial year, like India is following April to March. US companies are following calendar year, Jan to December. So one company is existed in two different countries, and how we need to get two different financial statements. So these all we are going to cover in the training session, in our further training sessions.
Okay. As well as like all the vocabulary, right, that we will use.
Yeah,
Thanks.
let me share my complete screen. Okay, so that we are going to cover. And so this is what we do have, SAP. When it comes to SAP, in SAP we are having earlier ECC, Enterprise Central Component, we are calling it as. From 2015 onwards, SAP has introduced S4HANA, okay, that is high performance analytical appliances. Okay, so what is S4HANA means? It is high performance analytical appliance, means the database has been completely changed. Before S4HANA, SAP is having dependency on other companies' database, like Oracle database, IBM database they are using, and they do have some database related issues from different clients. Then SAP thought, why can't we develop our own database? So thereafter, SAP started working on their own database. Okay, so then they introduced S4HANA. So this has been introduced in 2015, and every year they are releasing one version in on-premise. On-premise and cloud, there are two different versions we do have. In cloud, again, we are having public and private. On-premise, we are having you know uh, private kind of thing. That means data sharing. Okay, so every year one new on-premise data version is releasing in the system. That means whatever features that are lack in this version 2023 November, they released one S4 HANA version, and thereafter they will work on other features to improve the SAP performance and in terms of meeting clients requirement. Okay, so they are going to work on that, because SAP is used by many industries and many entities, like banking they are using SAP, manufacturing they are using SAP, and retail industry, trading industry, and pharma industry. So different industries are using SAP. So they do have their own specific packages. So pharma is having its own package, retail is having its own package, and even management, school management also having their own package, and IS retail. Okay, so every industry has their own package to use SAP functionality. So manufacturing cannot be used by retail because retail is completely different. What they do, they just buy and they do trading. Okay, so they do have a lot of chains. When it comes to manufacturing, they just procure the material, they do manufacturing and they do sale. Okay, so every industry is having its own best practices. So in that case, SAP has introduced by taking industry specific practices to meet their business requirement. Okay, so in that S4 HANA is one of the database which has been introduced by SAP to speed up the data entry, and when it comes to report execution, when they want to see last 1 year accounts payable report, or when they want to compare the financial statement of two different fiscal years, if they execute the report, it should not take much time. Okay, it has to be give output within fraction of seconds, then only they feel that this software is working fine. When we need any report, if it is not giving the output, then definitely they will get frustrated. Okay, so SAP has got a lot of complaints related to database. Then later on, they worked on their own beta database, and now the performance of the data and the storage of the data, it is completely taken care by SAP database. So there is no issue at all from the database perspective. Okay, so moving to next. Uh, Here how this S4 HANA evolution has happened. When we are having ECC system, that is old S4 HANA, we can migrate from ECC to S4 HANA, or we can do conversion from ERP to S4 HANA. So these are the conversions how we can do. So we are going to discuss about this one. New implementation means it is completely greenfield implementation, we will call it as. I mean to say, they are not using SAP at all, and we are going to introduce SAP for them, or to transfer their database completely from non-SAP system to SAP system. So whatever system that they are using before SAP, we will call it as a legacy system or non-SAP system. Okay, so that is greenfield implementation or conversion from ERP ECC old to new S4 HANA. That is migration, we will call it as, or system conversion. Landscape transformation. Okay, so they do have different landscape, and now in S4 HANA they want to convert that. So these are the movements of S4 HANA in the system. And in S4HANA, the major feature that we do have is Fiori application. Like we no need any laptop to carry to post any transaction in the SAP. Okay, we should have one URL browser. So by using that URL browser, we can do GL posting, accounts payable posting, accounts receivable posting, all the postings. So in Fiori, this has been introduced in S4 HANA. So transactional means you are posting the transaction, fact sheets means reports, analytical means at high level where management want to see the reports. So all these three we do have in SAP S4 HANA Fiori application, because whatever we are going to do training, so we are not using SAP. We will show how it is going to be happen, but complete transaction. So there are configuration we are going to do in SAP, whereas transactional data we are doing in Fiori application by using different applications for different modules. Okay, and this is the journey of S4 HANA from 2015 to 2023. So we do have different words like 2015, 1503, it is fiscal year, and 03 is the month. After that fiscal year, and 11 is the month, like that. They have introduced every year, and here 2023 version. So in November, they have introduced S4 HANA new release version. And here we can see what are the features that have been introduced by S4 HANA. And when we do compare between 2022 version to 2023 version, we can see that comparison as well. Okay, and here we can see some differences between ECC and S4 HANA. So if you know S4 ECC, and it is easy to understand, but this we will see more details in further session. And coming to architecture, so SAP is having three-tier architecture, we will call it as. We do have three different systems: development system, quality system, and production system. So development system means consultants are having access to this one. Okay, so let me tell you on the Excel. So basically when we are talking about SAP, it is ERP software. So we do have different modules in SAP. One is functional modules and technical modules. So our module FICO, we are talking about material management, sales and distribution, production planning, HR, and project system. Okay, plant maintenance. So there are multiple modules which are coming under functional. For functional modules, there is no coding required. Coding means C, C++, Java, that is not required. Technical modules, when we talk about ABAP, basis, and theory. So these all we will call it the technical modules. So for this, we need some basic understanding of C, C++ languages. Now we are going to learn about FICO. So in FICO, we have been divided into two categories. One is finance, second one is CO. When it comes to finance, GL, general ledger accounting, accounts payable, accounts receivable, asset accounting, banking, and taxation. So these are the modules in finance. And CO, we do have cost center accounting, cost element accounting, product costing, internal order, and material ledger, COPA. So these are the major modules. So this we will call it as a modules. So these we will call it as sub modules. Okay, so these submodules we are going to cover and what is the functionality of GL and everything. So in addition to that, we are going to have integration sessions because SAP Finance FICO is having integration with all the modules. FICO is having integration with MM, SD, PP, HR, PS, plant maintenance. Every module is integrated with finance. So that integration we are going to cover in our training session. And so coming to configuration, data in SAP, there are three types of data. One is configuration data and master data, transactional data. So configuration data means building SAP system. Okay, so I mean to say making ready SAP system, that is configuration. Master data means this is personal information of the specific thing, which is the major part for any business transaction. If you want to do like GL, in GL, rent paid GL account is one master data and bank GL account is one master data. So to post any GL account we need master data. Transactional data means like posting day-to-day business transactions. So these are transactional data, we will call it as. Okay, so when it comes to landscape, so as we are discussing, there are three types of systems: development, quality, and production. So in development, we are going to do the configuration, and in quality system, whatever configuration that we have done in development system, that we will move to quality and we do testing. So this is testing system or UAT client, we will call it as. Okay, production system here, they will use day-to-day business transactions. Day-to-day business transaction means only used by company. Okay, so coming to consultants, we are calling as a consultants, FICO consultants, and from the business side we will call them as a end users. Whoever is using SAP from the company side, so we are calling them as a end user. The person who is implementing SAP, we will call them as a consultants. So consultants are having access to development, access to quality, and limited access to PRD. Whereas end users are not having no access to development, access to quality only for testing, and access to production to perform day-to-day business transactions. Day-to-day business transactions, I mean to say purchases, sale, payment, receipts, all the details that are going to taken care by the end users. Whereas consultants like FICO consultant, material management consultant, sales and distribution consultants, they are having access to development system. They build the system by interacting with the business. First they need to understand what business they are doing, how they are running, how the payments they are doing, how the collections they are doing, how the integration is happening. So that we will discuss and we will develop the system in development system. Thereafter we move the configuration changes from development to quality system. Again we will not do the same setup in quality, we just move whatever changes that we have done in development system to quality system. Thereafter we will hand over to the the end users to do testing. Okay, and after that we will move to production system. It is similar to if I take a simple example, like when you are booking uh, any flat, okay, in a apartment. So when you are booking flat, you are giving your requirement, like I need 2 bhk or I need 3 bhk apartment. I want open kitchen, I don't want open kitchen. So whatever features that you are giving, so that is taking, and the constructor is developing or building that completely building the building. And after that he is giving handover. While doing handover he will show you whether he has built as per your requirement or not. Okay, so that is done in the quality system, that is testing. So you are going to verify before jumping into that building or your flat. You are verifying whether he has done all the work properly or not, whether water is coming properly, electricity has been done properly or not. So that is testing. So similar to that, when you have given your requirement to the builder, so that is development. So he has taken your requirement and he is constructing that. And after that in the quality system, so before going into that flat, you are going to validate the requirements you have given to the builder and other quality checks whatever you do have. So similar to that, that is part of quality testing. Once you satisfied, then you will start living in that flat. Similar to that, even SAP also, we are taking the requirement from the client. Client means Tata Motors is there, BMW car, if they want to implement SAP, any other company. So we will take the requirement from them. Requirement means they don't know anything about SAP, but they will say that I want to take financial statement by product, I want to take financial statement by different plants. So they will give the requirement, reporting requirement, or other transactional requirement, whatever. So we take that requirement and we build the system according to that. And after that we do testing internally. So because even in the development system also, we do have different clients. One is configuration client, testing client, because before moving the changes to the quality system, we have to do testing internally. We do testing, and after that we move to quality system and we hand over to the client. Client will do testing. So before doing testing, we have to give training to him, because they don't know what is the application that has to use, how it is going to benefit for them. So we have to train them. Once we train, they will use that, and they will say that yes, now I am able to get the financial statement, now I am able to get the aging report, I am able to get stock report. So they will give the confirmation. Then we move to the production to do their day-to-day business transaction. So this is the landscape that we do have, and to complete one implementation. Okay, so when it comes to SAP projects, there are different projects that are going to handle. One is implementation project, support projects, rollout, migration, and enhancement. So implementation project means we are implementing SAP freshly. Maybe they are using SAP, but they don't want that and they want to scrap and use new SAP software completely. Okay, or if they are using non-SAP system and moving from non-SAP to SAP, that is called as implementation. Support means already they are using SAP, we are giving support, like any errors they are facing or any new business requirement we are getting. So for that we are getting support, giving support. Rollout means new functionalities, like they have their new operation. They are going to have their new operations in different country or different city. So for that, they want to bring the operations into SAP. That is rollout. Migration means from one version of SAP to different version of SAP. So that is migration. Enhancement means doing some small enhancement in the existing SAP functionality. Okay, so like any feature which is not there, okay, if we want to implement that additional feature in existing SAP, we will call this as a enhancement. So these are the projects that we do have, and we will be covering more in details going further. And even there are some methodologies, because there are many companies which are approaching SAP. Like SAP is having its own products and database, like Accenture, if you take an example, and IBM. So these are the implementation partners. Okay, so IBM, Accenture, and TCS. So these are the implementation partners in SAP. SAP, if any customer wants to implement SAP, they may contact to SAP, or they will open for bidding. So when they open for bidding, these companies will approach customer, and they will give their presentation how they are going to implement, how much time it is going to take and what is the cost for that. Or they will contact SAP, and SAP will contact these implementation partners, and these partners will go to customers, and they will give their demo. Okay, so when once they give the demo, then they will say that, okay, maybe IBM is giving less quotation in terms of quality features, in terms of timelines and everything. So they will select. So we will call them as an implementation partner. So they cannot use their own implementation methodologies, because SAP has set up some standards saying that, okay, you are using my product, okay, use my methodology, don't spoil my product. So in that case, there are some activate methodologies. So when we are having activate methodology, SAP has said that, okay, if you want to implement SAP successfully, you have to follow activate methodology. Okay, so in this activate methodology, we do have different phases like discover, prepare, explore, realize, deploy, and run. Each and every phase, what we need to do. Okay, so that is related to project management. When we are going to implement any ERP or SAP software, so example here, if you take TCS is going to implement in SAP here. So first they will finalize how many consultants required, what is the timeline for that, what are the modules that they are going to implement, so everything. So they do plan accordingly. We have to do the implementation. So in that they will use activate methodology. So each and every phase, what activity that we need to perform to get complete SAP implementation. Okay, so that has been given here. So before doing any implementation, first we need to build organization structure. So this organization structure is the sample one. This is the basic and sample one, which is we are following in the SAP implementation, like system landscape. So this is three system landscape. Operating concern, this is one of the organization unit from the COPA side. Controlling area, this is from the controlling side. Company code, where we are using for legal entity to take the financial statement. Purchase organization from the side. Sales organization from SD side. Okay, even other org units also there, but these are the major org units that we need to develop SAP implementation. Okay, and this we have discussed already, three types of data, and these are the modules overview that we have. And like when we divide into two different modules, finance and controlling, so we are having this. So how we are going to do, first we will take one real time data, real time real time data structure. So I mean to say, we will take either one manufacturing industry we will take, and we will work, and we will start working on that. So in that, first we will understand how the manufacturing is taking place. Okay, first we need to understand, if you take any example, one manufacturing industry, how this manufacturing taking place. First we need to understand their business process, and we have to take the reports collection, and we need to do business blueprint. So here we will specify arc structure, and after we will do configuration. So then we will do testing, and after that we will do reports. So this way we are going to cover. Say for example, I'm taking one example in GL. Okay, if they say that I do have a recurring transactions, if they are having, I am posting a recurring transactions. First we need to know how these recurring transactions are posting in SAP. So that we will take. And okay, how to configure this recurring, and how to post recurring, and how to see the reports. So first we will understand what is the business process, and after that how we need to map this in SAP. For that, what is the configuration required, and what is the application that we need to use to post recurring, and what are the reports that we are. So this way we are going to cover each and every submodule wise. Like accounts payable, if you do have accounts payable, like here they are having bank transfer, check payment. I'm just giving an example. Okay, check payment. So in this check payment, how this procurement is happening. So when they do purchase, are they doing purchase by creating a purchase order or without purchase order? So without integration or with integration. So that we will cover. So I mean to say, we are going to cover module by module each and every scenario, and after that we have to take financial statement. End of the session, end of the session, the financial report is the major thing, like P&L, profit and loss, how we have to take, and balance sheet, how we have to take. Okay, and profitability report. So we do have different profitability report also, how we are going to take, and aging report. So there are multiple reports that we are going to see end of the session. So these are the things that we are going to cover. And here, after completing each and every module, we are having some sample questions to understand. Okay, so after completing each and every sub module, we are going to have some sample questions to know what we understand, and is there anything that we need to learn more on a specific topic. Okay, so some sample questions that we will see, maybe 10 to 15 kind of things, and we will, once we comfortable this one, then we will move to next one, because every module is having, link. If we know GL, then it is easy for us to understand AP. If we understand AP, then AR is also simple, like that. Because the application, the features, everything is same, only the thing is which application that we need to use is important thing. So that way we are going to cover both finance as well as controlling. Okay, so that's it from my end. If anyone having anything to ask or any clarification, let me know.
I think I'm good for any question.
Okay, it's clear, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, fine. You can contact Naveen further on this, so that we'll see.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you all.
thank you.
Thank you.